morning.
It's not morning in Vietnam now.
It's morning somewhere. Where is it morning?
I don't know.
Canada. Merry Christmas.
Today's my birthday too.
I know I was going to say that next, but first I said Merry Christmas
Merry Christmas.
and happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you are 11 or 12 now?
I'm 11 now.
11 now. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, you're the one, but you're the one birthday I always remember because it's on Christmas Eve. And then Jason, who was you were in that class before, his birthday. Oh, I forget now. It's 2 days before yours or 2 days after. I can't remember, but it's right around now too. I got to double check his my student list. Because what I want to do, because I keep forgetting people's birthdays and it's impossible to remember everybody's birthday, is there has to be, like on the Google Calendar, I can enter everything and then it can notify me when all the birthdays come up. So I can remember to always remember when everybody's birthday is. Yeah, but yours is the easiest one to remember. Yours and mine. I always remember my birthday. How's Lily today? Merry Christmas. No Merry Christmas from Mimi today? Mimi. Hello, Mimi. Good morning, Mimi. Oh, my God.
Oh, sorry, because my grandma came to my room.
Your friend or your mom?
My grandma.
Oh, your grandma. Tell your grandma I said Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And, Merry Christmas to you.
Happy birthday, too.
My birthday is on the 3rd of January. Very soon.
Oh, yours is really soon, too. January 3rd. Oh, my God. Do we have a class that day? No, that'll be on Sunday is the 1st, 2nd. It'll be on a Tuesday, your birthday. Okay. All right. So Lily's got a party after class?
Yes.
Yeah. See, if you're Canadian, you don't want to have your birthday on New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve.
Why?
That's like being Vietnamese and having your birthday on Tet Day, Tet New Year's.
No, I know. Now I know.
Yeah, that's terrible. Because then you only get one holiday. But if your birthday and Tet is different months, then you get money and presents at Tet, and you get money and presents at your birthday. But if they're on the same day, no, terrible. Yeah. All right. So what do we got today? I know we tried to make the class earlier because of your birthday. But Mimi had a class too this afternoon or something this afternoon. What did you have this afternoon?
I have to prepare for the test.
Oh, you were doing preparations for your test. Okay. All right. Okay, so today, last week, what did we do last week? Last week was, that was Shopaholic. I like that. That was pretty good. This week we're going to do, is it the Fussy Eater? No. Taste. Okay. All right, let's go and see what we got. Boom, boom, boom. Taste. Yeah. Okay, let's move this over here for right now, just to make it easier to deal with. Yeah, taste. You guys like to cook food and try new things?
Yes.
Yeah, you're a big food lover, Lily is. What about Milo? Do you like to try new foods and try to do some cooking at home sometimes when you're having fun?
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah, me too. That's why of course, I like restaurants. And actually, the restaurant that we had at Cowboys, I think, Mimi, you ate there before, yeah? You had pizza or spaghetti there? Huh? Lily, did you eat at Cowboys before? My old restaurant
Let me think.
at Cowboys.
Maybe I drank milkshake there.
Oh, when we had the ice cream and the milkshakes. Yeah. Well, that menu with all the steaks and the pizzas and the quesadillas and the spaghettis, everything was homemade, first of all. And what I did is because I didn't want to sell Vietnamese food, of course. It had to be a Western restaurant. So I basically picked all the things that I liked around the world: Mexican food, Canadian food, Italian food, and French food and different things. And then I would look up all the recipes and make them in the kitchen until we made it really nice. And then I would train the staff to cook it. So that's what I liked the most about that job, was that we had the tools and the resources to be able to create or recreate, because of course they already exist. We were following recipes, but to be able to make all these new dishes and then perfect them and make them so that they were good, so we could put them on our menu. So that was a lot of fun. We even made our own breads, like for the pizza and the quesadillas. We made our own spaghetti sauce from scratch with real tomatoes and everything. So that was really cool. So I really enjoy having a nice kitchen and having the time to be able to try new foods and recipes. And I also enjoy going to different restaurants. Do you guys like going to new restaurants?
Yes.
That's fun. When I lived in Canada, that was kind of like our thing to do. One night a week, we would always go out. And that was the idea. Sometimes we'd go to some of our favorite restaurants if we couldn't think of a new place. But the idea was that I think it was Sunday night we used to do that. Every Sunday night, we'd pick a new restaurant to go and try some food. And that is a habit I very, very much enjoyed. A lot of fun. All right. So today, though, in our lesson taste, I think it's about a kid that likes to eat strange things and started a blog on the internet. Am I right? Yeah, this kid had an unusual taste for very, very strange things. And they knew it at a very young age. He was like the age of, how old was he? Oh, I don't know. He was like 4 or 5 years old. We'll read about him later. But one day they came home and it's like, well, where's the turtle? And this little boy came walking in the room, and the turtle, the feet of the turtle were hanging out of the boy's mouth. He thought it would be interesting to try to eat the turtle. The turtle survived, so that's good. The turtle didn't get eaten, but it definitely started something where the kid always wanted to try unusual, strange foods, and then he started a blog. And he would try all these different types of foods, and then he would write about all the different tastes that these foods had. So that's how the story came to be, Taste. So let's start. Yeah.
And raw?
Yeah. If it's not cooked, it's raw, Milo. Yeah, and some foods you can eat raw. I mean, if it's a good source, I don't think I would eat raw beef in some of the Asian countries, but in Australia or Canada or Japan, these places where they're like number one in the world for beef, cow. I would have a steak tartare. A steak tartare is not in our vocab, I hope. A steak tartare is where they ground up all the beef and lots of herbs and spices and everything. And you actually eat the meat raw. I've tasted it. It's really, really good, but it has to be a really good quality of beef. But some foods we can eat raw and some we can't. What can we eat raw? Can you think of anything?
Raw.
Yeah.
Raw banana.
Well, I think, as far as I know, all fruit can be eaten raw. I don't know of any fruits you have to cook before you eat it. Maybe there is, but I don't know of any. But let's stick to and even vegetables, right? There are lots of vegetable salads, for example, that all the vegetables, the cauliflower and the broccoli and the carrots and everything in there are raw. When I was a kid, we grew potatoes. So we'd often just grab a potato and peel the skin off with a little knife. And we just put a little salt on it and we'd eat it like an apple. So you can eat potatoes raw. You can even eat fresh eggs raw. I used to eat lots of fresh eggs raw when I was a kid. It's kind of slimy. The first time you do it, it's kind of like,
Do you have a stomach ache?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, there's nothing wrong with eating raw eggs. A lot of athletes do. They put 4 or 5 raw eggs in a glass and they drink it. But it just seems disgusting. And it's kind of slimy and cold when you put it in your mouth. So it kind of feels weird, but no, there's no problem with it. But I mean, I wouldn't go buy the eggs in the supermarket and then take raw eggs. But if your mom and dad are growing chickens and you have fresh eggs and the chicken are eating not chemicals all the time, then yeah, you can eat raw eggs. I could. I mean, I don't know of any law that says now you can't. But I did. My brother used to take tomatoes out of the garden, just raw tomatoes, and eat them like apples. It was really messy, but he used to eat raw tomatoes. I just never liked tomatoes when I was a kid. I like them now, but I didn't like them when I was young. So meats. What meats can we eat chicken raw?
Maybe no.
Maybe no. Do you know anybody that ever eats chicken that's still bloody and raw? No. Chicken is one of those foods that is, I'm just going to check. There's a word. I think it's selenam. Oh, I can't remember the name, so I'm not going to say it. Why can't we eat raw chicken? Why can't we eat raw chicken? Chicken can be a nutritious choice. Yeah, I know a healthy chicken is good for you. No problem. It's good, very good. But raw chicken is often contaminated with blah, 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 blah bacteria, and sometimes with salmonella. And this is like, if you eat uncooked chicken, you could get, it's called fishbone illness, also called food poisoning. So, and from what I understand, most cooked meats, it's much healthier that way for you. Eat raw chicken, but dogs can. Animals can eat raw meat because they have a stronger stomach acid, right? Because when we eat, after we chew our food and we swallow it, and the saliva helps dissolve the food as well, then when it's in our stomach produces certain acids. That's why we get heartburn sometimes. And the acids then go in and break down all the food and pull out the minerals and the vitamins, and then our body manages our body the way it magically does, and we get all our nutrition from that food. So it's body acids that we have inside us. Digest their food from an evolutionary standpoint. The acid has needed to be much stronger to kill parasites and different bacteria. So dogs can eat raw chicken, which they often do, because sometimes you have a farm and the dogs start eating the chickens. And wolves and coyotes and foxes, they always love to hunt at farms and try to catch the chicken. But they have stronger acids in their stomach that break down the bacteria. So they're fine. They have a different digestive system. But we cannot eat that. So you never eat, if you cook some chicken sometimes, and that happens when you do like the legs, the drumsticks, and then you cut it, and then you see in the middle by the joints, like at the elbow or something, you see there's still blood in the meat. Don't eat it. Put it back in the frying pan and cook it for a few more minutes. It's dangerous to eat raw chicken. Again, it's still safe to cook your beef, but I know that in a lot of beefs you can eat raw. What about pork? Can you eat pork raw?
Maybe
Pig?
no.
Yeah, I think pig's the same thing. What about fish? Can you eat raw fish?
Yeah, I like the raw fish from sashimi.
Yeah, I think a lot of fish you can eat raw, because that's like sushi. Yeah, they always make. But there's some that we can't. I know there's some people. I saw a video the other day about that puffer fish, the one that's poisonous. And if it's not cooked right, you'll die. Yeah, it's really poisonous. And it's a delicacy, of course. All right. So according to Google, you really still need to be careful when you eat raw fish. I've had sushi and especially raw salmon, many times. And as far as I know, I have never been sick from eating raw fish. But there are exceptions, I guess. So you have to be careful. But we're going to talk a little bit about steaks later today. So, yeah, to be safe, you should cook your meat. You should cook all your meats. Okay. Raw. Dun, 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 dun. They're looking at books. What are they doing? I think we had this word recently too. It's a cookbook, but what is in the cookbook?
Tutorial.
Materials, but it tells you what ingredients to use, which ones to put first, how much to put, and how to cook it. Well, it's like a tutorial in a way. It's like a written tutorial.
Cooking instructions.
They are cooking instructions, but there's a word for that. Maybe we didn't have this word yet. Some people don't even call it a cookbook. They call it a book. And it'll say, oh, you want to make pancakes or you want to make a homemade spaghetti sauce. And it tells you how to prepare the tomatoes and the herbs and spices. What is it?
Right.
I didn't get it, Mimi. Starts with an R. And I remember my mom and my grandmother, they used to write down how they cooked all the different foods that they would make. And then they always had it written down in their own little books and pass it down from mother to daughter. And then they would have all the to make these cheesecakes and these apple pies and how long, and that's what it does, right? It tells you all the ingredients, what proportions you need, which one to mix first, and how long to let it sit, and how long to put it in the fridge, and how high to put the heat on, and how long to cook it for, and what temperature, and all these things to make that lasagna. No, you guys don't know, huh? Didn't find it yet? It's called you know this. I know you know it. I'm sure Lily said this word before. What is it?
Receipt.
A receipt is the piece of paper you get as proof of payment when you buy something, not a receipt. Look at the phonics.
Reserve.
You know this word, Milo?
Yeah, I know.
Res. And again, this I is going to sound like an A, right? Recipe. It's a recipe. So some people will call, like this book that she has is obviously a cookbook for Italian food, right? Cucina Italiana, right? Italiana, I believe, is Italian for Italian. And cucina, I think, is cuisine, the style of cooking. I think that's what it means. La grande is French. That's the big Italian cuisine, we would say in English. But these books can be called cookbooks. See all the pastas. Yeah, she's looking at pastas and everything, all the ingredients. It's also called a recipe book. Recipe book. And that's a great way. If you like playing in the kitchen and you want to try some of these amazing dishes, that's what you do. You go out or someday and you buy yourself a nice recipe book of types of foods that you do want to have or that you do like. And then when you're at home, you can experiment and make these wonderful dishes. Recipe books are really awesome to have in your kitchen. I love them. Yeah. Recipes, the instructions and ingredients, everything you need to know to make that dish, and hints and tips. They talk you through it. This is a very popular fruit. Yeah, it's a fruit. In Asia, East Asia, I believe. I believe it's quite popular here too, especially in the south. But it smells really bad.
Durian.
Yeah. That's the old smelly durian. I remember the first time I tried it in Indonesia. It's very popular in Indonesia too. But they actually made laws in Singapore and Indonesia. You're not allowed to even bring the durian on a bus or in malls or things like that. It's because the smell is so strong. And the first time, it was my friend's wife who said, try this. It's really good. And she gave me a plate of these yellow things like this. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God. And the smell, oh my God. And then as soon as I touched it and it was all mushy and creamy, and I was like, no, I can't try this. I can't do it. I can't do it. But I did try it and it's not too bad. But I do like durian flavor ice cream or yogurt. That's good. But I'm not a big fan of durian. Do you like durian, Milo?
No.
No, you don't like it either.
No.
What about you, Lily?
I like durian.
It's one of those fruits. They call it an acquiring taste. Sometimes there are some foods that the minute you see it or you smell it, it's like, oh, no, I don't like that. You just automatically tell yourself you don't like it. But then you eat it a little bit, and then all of a sudden you realize, wait, no, I really like this. And then the smell doesn't turn you away. It attracts you. It's called an acquired taste. Acquired taste means you kind of worked at it, but then you got it. Blue cheese is like that. Blue cheese is one of the strongest smelling and tasting cheeses that I know of. And a lot of people can't stand the smell of blue cheese. And I have to admit, the very first time I smelt it, long time ago, I was kind of like, ooh, a little bit too. But after I ate it, now I love blue cheese. I could sit there and just cut pieces of blue cheese off and eat it. But I'm a really big cheese lover. I love cheese. Very much so. Oops, I got to put the word up. Durian. Yeah. Very popular in Southeast Asia. So some food, again, we're talking about taste. What about grapefruits and pickles and lime?
Juicy
and
sour.
Sour, yeah. But they are juicy. That's true too. But there's some of them are very sour, having a sharp, sometimes unpleasant taste or smell like a lemon and not sweet. See, this baby's eating the lemon for the first time. So, no way. Get that away from me. Grapefruit, too. You guys have the big ones. I don't know what you call them. But some grapefruits are very sour, too. My mom used to put a little bit of sugar on the grapefruits to eat them to balance the sourness and sweetness. And those pickles. Oh, I don't like pickles. Never liked pickles. But can you eat a lemon raw or a lime raw, Lily?
No.
No, too sour. What about you, Milo? Can you eat a lemon or a lime raw?
Too sour, but I can eat them.
You can or you can't?
Yeah.
What did she say, Lily? Can. Yeah, me too. I don't mind. The lemons I really like. But yeah, they are sour. But I kind of like it. Yeah.
But I really like lemon with hao hao soup.
With ha-ha-su.
Ha.
Who's ha-ha-su?
Hao hao salt.
It's
Ha-ha
a type of a noodle from the market. You know that.
Oh, from the instant noodles packets? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I would think so, yeah. Salt would go well with sour. Yeah, it would. I believe that. I would try it. Now, we definitely had this word before. It's not strange. Different from others of the same type. That's not a normal looking guy.
Strange.
It's not strange. This house, yeah,
Unusual.
that's right. Yeah, Mimi got it. Unusual. That's an unusual house. The house kind of sank into the hill. An unusual tree statue design here. That's an unusual guy walking in the park doing selfies with a panda head. Not normal. Unusual. Strange has a bit of a different meaning. I think it's more like shocking and more like not it's a strange thing, but not really part of something, right? See this one here, different from others of the same type. That's an unusual house of many houses. Those are unusual trees of many different trees. Strange is like kind of on its own. Yeah. Unusual. We had that before. Footage in Montmartre, Paris. So this is a house in Paris. I wonder if anybody lives in that house. Any of the foods or substances that are combined to make a particular dish. Yeah, they got the picture, the wrong picture here. Well, it's not for you guys, but I know what it is. No, well, remember when you open up the recipe book, it's going to tell you all the things you need, all the materials, but we don't call it materials when it's food and herbs and spices and salt and peppers and different things.
Ingredient?
Yeah, exactly, right? You can tell. What do you think they're going to make right here in the big picture?
Spaghetti?
I would think they're going to make some kind of a spaghetti sauce. Yeah. You got the pasta there. You got the mushrooms. You got the tomatoes. You got all the herbs and spices here. You've got the oils. And I'm guessing these leaves are like probably oregano or something, but I don't know which ones. But it looks like all the ingredients you would need to make a sauce, a nice tomato sauce and tomato paste and fresh tomatoes. Yeah. Ingredients. And of course, up here, you have all these different spices and herbs and chilies and all kinds of peppers and different things. So you could make some really tasty dishes in your kitchen, nice and healthy, if you had all the spices and herbs like this and you had a recipe book to tell you how much of what to put in what. Make some really nice food. Ingredients. Now, I didn't know coffee and green tea were described with this taste, with an unpleasantly sharp taste. I can see what they mean by olives because a lot of people eat these olives and they have a different taste to them.
Bitter?
Again, yeah, bitter. I absolutely love olives. I buy olives all the time. And I put them in pastas. I put them in spaghetti, pizzas. I eat them just raw. I really like olives, and I only use olive oil for cooking and salads. But and coffee, I guess I can understand. Some coffees are a bit bitter the first drink you take. But according to Cambridge and stuff, tea is considered bitter as well. Bitter. Yeah, with an unpleasant, sharp taste. I kind of like the taste of all of them, but bitter. So that's 3 points for Lily. Have you ever tried olives, Mimi? No? Lily?
No.
If you ever had a pizza at Cowboys before, we had a lot of pizzas with olives on it. I very much like olives. And there's like 139 different kinds of olives.
Disgusting.
Yeah, exactly what it is. Disgusting. Disgusting. Would you eat a bowl of maggots?
Oh,
They say it's really good for you.
No, never.
Very nutritious.
not at all.
Yeah. I would
They
have
look weird.
I would have a hard time eating them too. But you know that they do serve one really good medical purpose for us. Some hospitals use maggots to cure us. Do you know how they do that or what they cure?
I don't know.
Now, I don't remember what the cycle of a maggot is. I think it's connected to the flies, but I'm not really sure. I'd have to look it up, but I'm not going to bother. But I do know what they do in hospitals, in some hospitals, with maggots. Do you know what maggots do? Where do you always find maggots? They're a really wonderful creature for Mother Nature, and for us, really too. If you understand their purpose, what do they do? What do they eat? No?
Coconut?
No, they don't eat coconuts. They eat dead flesh. That's why when you see a dead animal in the forest or anything like that, or in the movies and a dead person, and he's been there for like a few weeks, and then of course they're full of maggots, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's so disgusting." Right? But these are kind of like these creatures kind of make our earth and everything nice and healthy because they eat all the dead flesh that decomposes, and they eat like the rotten fruits and everything that rot away. They'll eat that too, I think, as far as I know. And in the hospitals, there are a few really, really bad diseases that people get. And one of them, I believe, is called gangrene. Gangrene. I hope I got that right. Gangrene. Let's just double check again. Gangrene is, if you catch gangrene, it will eat your flesh away. And the old days, the only way to live if you got gangrene was you had to cut your hand off or cut your arm off or cut your leg off. Otherwise, the gangrene will spread and it'll just eat all your flesh. It's a horrible, horrible, disgusting disease. It comes from some kind of an infection. Yeah, okay. So what they'll do is, let's say you have like a really bad disease like that on your hand or your foot or something. What doctors will do is like they'll put a bag of live maggots like that, what we see in the picture, and you'll put your hand in it. Right? And then the maggots are all over your hands everywhere. But remember, maggots eat dead flesh. So it will eat all the infected flesh and disease and skin that's bad on your body, but it will not touch the healthy skin. So they can cure you from some skin diseases. It's exactly like, it's the same thing as those little fish that you can put your feet inside the tank, and then all the little fish come and eat all the dead skin on your feet. It tickles a lot. I don't know if you've ever done it. I did do it in Thailand. It tickles, but it's really, really cool. But all these little fish, hundreds, thousands of them come and nibble, nibble, nibble. And it's like, oh my God, they're going to eat me. But no, they don't. They don't touch the good skin at all. They just eat all the dead skin. And then you pull your foot out and it's like a baby skin. Everything is beautiful and perfect. Wowzers. Wowzers, wowzers, wowzers. But yeah, I definitely recommend that you absolutely do not Google it, because it is absolutely horrifying. These images. Whoa, wow. I'm going to have nightmares. Whew. That's scary stuff. Not pleasant to the eyes. All right, 3-3 tie. Now, these are the ingredients we use to make this famous Indian herb and spicy sauce. We use cumin, whatever they call that. These leaves, peppers, chili peppers. I don't know what we use. There was a list of it. I should have put the list here, the recipe on the side, so we could read it. But it's a famous, many kinds. You can have it. This chicken, this pasta, this vegetables, this all kinds of stuff. What foods are India famous for? And it's spread all over the world now. Every Indian restaurant uses it. It's impossible. Even it's one of the most favorite dishes in England now. I think there's a large Indian population in England too.
Curry.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Curry. Now, I'm guessing these because I found some pictures on Google, of course, and there is such a thing as a curry tree, and they have curry leaves, of course. But if you just type in curry, they just always show the sauce, that yellowish, orangey, brownish. But if you look at powder, that's when they would break it down to a powder, of course. But if you do curry leaves and stuff, then you'll see the bush or the little trees that grow these leaves. And that looks like, I think those are curry leaves right there, dried curry leaves. And that's part of the ingredient. But with that, they mix it with a few other herbs and spices to make the curry spicy food. And it is one of the most popular. You mix that, you can really make a lot of good sauces with these herbs and spices. Yeah, I never put the word up again. Curry. Pretty hard to. I don't think there's any curry restaurants around that don't have a curry dish in it. It's really traditional there. This should be very easy.
Ostrich?
Yeah. Ostrich. Okay, yeah. Now, see, I say ostrich. I don't know if there is a correct way to say it that way. That's how I grew up saying it. Ostrich, just like spinach. I know spinach, we can say spinach or spinach, sandwich. But I say sandwich and I say ostrich, and everybody understands me. So I'm not changing. But according to Google and everything, it's not ij. It's ch. Ostrich. That is apparently the correct pronunciation. And it is the tallest and biggest bird in the world. And it is also a flightless bird. It cannot fly. That's probably a good thing. Now, these guys, it's funny. I think we had it we had ostrich in some of our animal classes this morning with the stars, the kids. Maybe it was Paris's class. But if I go to my calculator again, they said that an ostrich, unbelievable, an ostrich could weigh between, a full-grown ostrich could weigh between 220 pounds to 280 pounds. That's bigger than me, more heavy than me. And I know they're taller than a man. That's incredible for a bird. But I'd really like to have an ostrich steak. I hear it's quite good, but I've never had ostrich. If I ever go to Australia, I think there's lots of restaurants that have ostrich on their menu. I'm going to have an ostrich steak for sure. Yeah. Ostrich. Mimi malo? Mimi malo! Ostrich.
Ostrich.
Ostrich, yeah. Ostrich. Now, there is another bird that looks like an ostrich, but it's a lot smaller. It's called an emu. And then there's another amazing dinosaur-looking bird in northern Australia. It's smaller too, but it can be dangerous. The hands are bigger than my hand, the claws, and they look like dinosaur feet. But they're very pretty birds, but they kind of have like the dinosaur thing on top of their head and everything. They're called the Casso. Oh boy, what is it again? Cassowary. Cassowary. That's it. I don't have a picture of it. But if you type this bird into Google, you can see here. They're pretty big. I think they can go up to a couple of meters or something, like almost as tall as a girl. I think there's a couple of pictures here where the cassowary is standing up next to a girl. You should Google this. Cassowary bird. And if you look at cassowary claw, you'll see pictures of how big their claws, their feet are, and it's incredible. I mean, it looks like it's from a dinosaur movie. Like, wow. They're not aggressive to people, but if they feel cornered, like any animal, if they're cornered or they feel threatened, they'll attack. And they have put people in the hospital before. They're very strong. But yeah, enormous. They say it's one of the closest relatives to the dinosaurs too. And this is also a big walking, cannot fly bird that lives in the rainforests of northern Australia. So please write that down and look at it in the Google, and you'll see the beautiful bird. It's beautiful, lots of beautiful colors, but yeah. And there's one other bird here that I just found out about recently. It lives in Africa, and this is, I don't know what it looks like. This is another one you should really, it's called a shoebill bird, I think. Let me see here. A stork. It's a stork. It has long, skinny legs. This guy, I tell you, he looks evil. Like, it looks like an evil Donald Duck that's like 3 feet tall. Like, and this one flies, but he has such a big beak and it's so powerful. He can, oh my God. So I'm going to type that one down too. Here's another one to check out. This is just, and when he makes a sound, it sounds like a machine gun when he claps his beak, his bill, because it's really wide. It's big, big, big. And that's why they call him a shoe bill bird. Yeah, the shoe bill. That's what they call him. So look him up too. And then he's got these evil looking eyes. If you look at him straight on, he has his big beak and these evil eyes. He's scary looking. And there's pictures there to show you how big he is. Yeah, they're like a meter tall, maybe more. They're not aggressive to people. They like to eat their fish and stuff like that. But an incredible looking bird, and I can't believe I'm 50 years old before I ever saw this bird or even knew it existed. When I first saw it on a YouTube video, I thought it was a cartoon character. What is that? What movie is this? And it's like, no, this is a bird that lives in Africa. What? Are you serious? Yeah. So those two right there, cassowary, and check out their claws. That's what's really amazing. And their heads. And the shoebill bird, the really unbelievable looking birds. Check that out. Okay. We have a 4-4 tie. Whew. Okay, so what are they talking? All right, so this is a person who doesn't eat meat.
Vegetarian.
Yeah. Excuse me. It is a vegetarian. And it could be a vegetarian for numerous reasons, right? A person who doesn't eat meat for health or religious reasons, like I know Muslims, the Islamic religion, they don't eat pork. Most restaurants, you won't see pork in the restaurants in many Muslim nations. I'm trying to think of another. They don't like dogs either. They think they're really disgusting because of the dog saliva, apparently something to do with their religion. And in India, Hindu, they worship, I don't know what the deal is with that, but cows are really important in the Hindu religion in India. Cows. So being a Westerner, I thought that was quite strange when I heard about it, but I don't know anything about the religion. I know they have all their own gods and everything, and I think it's very much related to or connected to Buddhism, but again, there's a word for someone who studies religions. What do they call that again? My mother got her master's in that degree. She studied all the different religions. Now, this person is like a vegetarian. Like Miss Lay, for example. Like for me, I like meat. I eat everything: fruit, vegetable, meat. The more meat, the better. I like my chicken. I like my pork. I like my steak. I like my fish. I like all meat. I can eat meat every day. No problem. Twice a day, 3 times a day. No problem. I love meat. And I will never stop eating meat as long as I can eat it. But Lei is a vegetarian, right? She eats everything, but she doesn't eat any meat. But some people don't even eat any animal products. No eggs, no dairy. They don't even eat honey because it comes from a bumblebee. And a bumblebee is an animal. It comes from the animal kingdom. What do we call those people? Right? They won't eat the eggs because it comes from a chicken. They won't eat cheese because it comes from what?
Vegetarian.
Well, no, the word before, Milo. That's why I have these two in here. The one that doesn't eat meat is a vegetarian. But this person, like Lei, is a vegetarian. But Lei eats eggs, cheese, honey, butter, milk. But these people don't eat anything from animals. What do we call these people? They won't eat eggs because they come from a chicken. They won't drink milk because it comes from a cow. Butter and cheese and yogurt, they won't eat it because it comes from milk, comes from a cow. They won't eat honey because it comes from a bumblebee. No? It starts with a V. Oh. They're called vegans. You knew that, huh? A vegan. Yeah, vegan. No animal products at all. And they won't even wear leather. Leather jackets, leather bag, leather purse, leather shoes, leather belt, because it comes from an animal. They won't even use it for clothes. It says right there, leather. I don't know how many vegans don't even use leather, but that's what it says in some of the descriptions, definitions. Now, this word that I'm going to ask you is not in our vocabulary, but it was in another class, so I'm going to ask you anyway. Now, we also have someone who's even more restricted. You have someone who doesn't eat meat, a vegetarian. Then you have someone who doesn't eat meat or meat products. That's a vegan. And then we also have a person who doesn't eat wheat or what is it they don't eat? Most vegetables. I think anything grown on a farm. So they only eat nuts and seeds and some fruits and some vegetables that grow wild. And that's all they eat. And I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's good at all. But let me just see what the diet here is again. Just so I don't get it wrong. Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, see, these people look really skinny. I don't think that's healthy. And a lot of doctors say that it's not healthy to be this because there's just too many nutrients in foods that you are not getting. While most fruit is considered to be healthy and nutritious, a diet that solely relies on fruits will be deficient in nutrients, including proteins, iron, calcium, vitamin B, vitamin B12, D, zinc, omega-3 fatty acids. So these people mostly just eat raw fruit, bananas, papayas, grapes, apples, berries, seeds, nuts, some grains, some vegetables. 90% fruit, 10% nuts and seeds. They're called fruitarians. So just think of the fruit. Yeah, just think someone who only eats fruit, seeds, and seeds. And they're called a fruitarian. Not for me. No. I mean, and I don't believe everything I read on Google. It's all written by corporations and they want us to believe whatever they write all the time. So there's a lot of things I don't believe from my own experience. But I do believe that a fruitarian would be an incomplete diet. I do think that's a bad thing. Vegans. Okay. Easy. The lake is, the food is, the cherries are
Frozen.
frozen. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Don't even know why I put it in here. Because it's in our reading for some reason. Okay. Frozen. 6 for Lily. 2-point lead. I've never seen frozen cherries. These look like cherries, a cherry tree. I would think that would be bad for cherries, but then again, I don't know where they grow cherry trees. We have little wild cherries in Eastern Canada where I grow up. I know the bears and birds eat them, but we can't eat them because they're not good for us. Where do most cherry trees grow? Here we go. That's got to answer our question. Okay. The majority of fresh cherries are produced in Turkey, in the Middle East, and the United States. So north of the equator. Some on the West Coast, Washington, California. All right. So maybe sometimes they do get a little frozen. I don't think it's good for them. Frozen. It's not disgusting, but it is disgusting. Spiders and scorpions and grasshoppers, and Lily disappeared. Uh-oh. Maybe she got hungry. They are insects. They are cooked insects. But you're not going to get this one because there is no picture of it, of course, but it's something similar. One of the foods this kid eats, his father brings him this food, and they're called toasted ants. So, and I think it was like jumbo ants from somewhere. So it's pretty big ants. And they toast them. So they cook them. And he got some and he was eating them and he thought they were really good. So, but of course, I can't find a good picture. I can't find a picture of toasted ants. But I could find pictures of like deep fried grasshoppers and scorpions and all these guys. So something similar, but an ant. What kind of fish is this? Supposed to be the healthiest fish in the world. You know what fish this is, Milo? Bears love this fish. But so do I. You hear me, Milo?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what it is?
Fish.
What kind of fish? Especially known for that.
Salmon fish.
A what?
Salmon fish.
Salmon. Yeah. The L is silent. Salmon. And it's famous for like its orange colored text with all the muscles in here and the little lines of fat. Inside these little lines of fat, I think, is where you have all that omega-3, that really nutritious oils that our bodies need. It is, if it's a good fresh salmon, not farmed, of course, but good and fresh, then this is a very, very healthy source of vitamins and nutrients and oils for our body. Supposedly, if it isn't the number one, it is one of the healthiest fishes you can eat. Absolutely. Salmon. And I absolutely salmon. Have you had salmon before? Sure. Yeah. Do you like it?
I really like it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I really like it too. Now this one too, we couldn't even find a video, so we just took a picture off Wikipedia here, hoping that we won't get in trouble. This is a berry. I believe it grows in Africa. Again, it'll be in our reading. But apparently, this fruit, if you eat this berry, it's a berry, a fruit. If it has seeds, it's a fruit. So this berry, it's called miracle berry. When eaten, causes sour foods subsequently consumed to taste sweet. So if you eat this berry and then you have a lemon after, the lemon is going to be sweet like an orange. It's going to change how you taste food. So it could be very interesting eating some of these before your dinner, and then it'll completely change how the food is going to taste. So they call it miracle berries. I don't know. I've never had one. I've never seen one. And I only know about them as well because of the lesson we have. And this kid was eating miracle berries and talking about it. And I have a feeling I'll probably never eat one. Where did Lily go? Did she lose her power? Oh, here's the... Okay, Lily's place has a power cut. She cannot continue. Just so you know. Thank you. Yeah, it was so sudden and she's not signing back in. The power went out there. No power. All right. Just you to finish it up. So let me know vocab. Well, I know it's a tongue, but what are all those little dots on the tongue? What are they? What? Taste buds. Yeah, that's right. That's what we use to have all the flavor. It's these little taste buds that make things sour or bitter or sweet or hot or cold. Yeah. Taste buds. Now, in our mouth, of course, there wasn't, again, it was tough to get a picture of a mouth, but the top part, and if you rub it, it's really itchy, yeah? Whew, can't do that. What do you call the top inside of your mouth? This part up here, behind your teeth. It's called a palate. The palate of your mouth is the top part inside the mouth. That's the palate. All right, so I already talked to you about raw. And then there's something like this. Like this is like that blue rare I was talking about, you know, where they cook the outside. See, the outside looks really cooked. It's all dark and crispy and crunchy. But then you cut it up and then the inside, it's still very red and very raw. See, you pick it up, there's still blood right there, yeah? So this would be considered what? And here he's cutting the meat, and as he's pressing down, you can see blood coming out. So what kind of a cut is that? What kind of cook is that? How would we describe that meat? Rare. Yeah, raw is uncooked. Rare is cooked just a little bit, but the inside is still raw. And that's how most people eat it, because that kills the bacteria and stuff. Because I think most of the bacteria and stuff is on the outside of the meats where it gets exposed from oxygen and air. And that's how bacteria comes in. But inside the meat is okay. So they cook the outside really hard, really hot, and then they eat it like that. And I have eaten steaks like this many, many times in the past, and I absolutely love it. It's so tender. It's so, I mean, some meats are chewy if they're not cooked, but if it's a good quality meat, it's really, really, really good. Like this looks like a Chateaubriand or something. That's a big piece of meat. That's good stuff. Really good. You can cut it all up into small slices. But the way I like it the best is like this one up here. This one is, I don't see any blood. I just see pinkness. This would be more like a rare, but medium rare. It's cooked a little bit longer. It's not bleeding. It's cooked enough that there's no more blood. It's just pink inside, not red. And it looks medium rare. That is the way I love my meat cooked. And then medium is just a tiny, tiny little bit of pink in the very, very middle. And then once you get to medium rare, then there's no more pink left. And then well done is like rubber, which is how most people eat their meat. Well done. Cook, 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 solid. But I like it like this. This has way more flavor to me. But again, it has to be good quality beef. Rare. What are those things? Yuck. I don't like them at all. But a lot of people love them. What are they? Yeah, they're pickles. I had to find another word, and I thought, there's a sour one for you. And since we're talking about foods and strange foods, to me, this is alien. This comes from aliens' planet. It's not from Earth. No. They don't like pickled food. Not my favorite. Do you like pickles?
I don't like pickles.
You don't like pickles either. Yeah, it's funny. I don't see many kids that like pickles, but yet even McDonald's and these fast food restaurants, they always sell the hamburgers with pickles on it. And I find that strange because I see many of the kids take the pickles off. And I take the pickles off. I always say, no pickles, no pickles. I don't want any pickles. But mind you, if it's diced up really small and sprinkled in with a mixture of the beef and stuff, then it's okay. I like pickled flavor, like chips and different things. But for some reason, cucumbers that have been pickled, they just don't sit well with me at all. But everybody has some food that they don't like. All right, that was a bit of a crazy class. You couldn't start early, and it's Lily's birthday, so she's going to a party, and she just got a power cut. So we're going to cut it here. And like I said, we'll do the reading about that kid's blog and all the strange foods he eats, and we'll do that next week. All right? Yes? No? Maybe?
I don't know.
All right. Good night, Milo.